Hey, beautiful people. Viv going live from York. So I've been talking to someone today about like ancestry and legacy and why it's so important. And I know I've done stuff about this before, but it's always worth coming back to. So people think of their ancestors, the people who went before them. They're not here quite often, a lot of them. And we don't particularly think about it unless you had a really good relationship. And that's normally with grandparents and not much beyond that, other than if you're talking about something like the World Wars or something like that. But ancestry and legacy are something that are pretty important to me in the work that I do, and it's especially become more important in the healings I've done recently. So in the first lockdown, I took the opportunity, because I wasn't working, because I did face-to-face healings and hadn't moved on to online healings. I took the opportunity to do some extra shamanic training, to do my sort of continued professional development. And one of the courses I did was one about ancestral healing, and it absolutely blew my mind. And what I've discovered recently, doing some of the recent healings I've done with clients, is that it's become actually a fundamental part of the stuff I do when I do my shamanic healing. When people come to me and say, I'm really struggling with stuff, or I want to look into things that have happened in my life, I very, very often now end up going and doing some sort of ancestral clearing, because people from our past, and I know I've mentioned this before, sort of stuff from the Bible says, unto the seventh generation, the sins of the father shall be passed on to the children. And I don't quite believe it in that way, but I do think that stuff that has gone before with previous generations can have a ripple effect on the people who come after. So trauma or unfulfilled potential, or just not living the life you wanted to, which, considering, not far back was, as I said, world wars and stuff like that, and then loads of changes, people not really having the opportunities to do what they want, etc., etc., etc. So it's something that I've experienced a lot with the healings I've done, as I've said. So I just wanted to share again some of the things I've mentioned in sort of previous blog posts and stuff like that, that I think legacy and looking at that side of stuff is really important to you and how you live your life. And if it's something that you get things that come up in dreams and you think, oh, that's really interesting because it's going back to like a previous era or something like that, it's definitely something I'd be noting down if I was dreaming about it. Maybe looking at sort of family history. Is there some sort of physical issue or things that happen across the generations that may be looked into? There's various things you can do if you do come up with that stuff. Obviously, shamanic healing, especially if somebody does ancestral stuff, is something that you can look into. There's family constellation work, which I've done before, which is very powerful when it comes to looking at sort of historical stuff. There must be various other things out there. If you're somebody who does sort of ancestral healing, feel free to put a comment below and share what you do. But it's something that I find really important. And it's also a really nice way of a new way of sometimes viewing death, which can be quite difficult to talk about if it's something that's happened to you recently. And I think it's just, if we talk about ancestry and legacy, it does make it easier for people to talk about if they've lost loved ones, how they're feeling about it. Even it happened years and years ago. I know there does seem to be a time limit on being able to talk about how you feel after someone's died. And I think that's a bit of a shame. I think we should be able to allow people to talk openly if they miss someone, even if it's past a certain cutoff point, because actually keeping those people alive can shift some of those issues you may have from people who've gone before. So I did do a blog post about this back in March 2021. I'm a big fan of acronyms, so I did come up with legacy being really important. It's something where you've got to love yourself and be aware that it's amazing that you're here. That if you look back across like 7 generations back, there's loads of people who were there, who were relatives of yours, which meant that you were here, and the miracle of you being here is astronomical. So make the most of it. Love what you do. If you don't love what you're doing, throw it away and find something else to do, because that's something that's honoring those people who came before you, especially those who didn't have the freedoms that we have, didn't have the food security that we have, blah, 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 went through lots of stuff for you to be here. So love yourself wholeheartedly, because by loving yourself, you're honoring those who have gone before. Do everything 100%. Again, it's the same reason that you're a miracle, that you're here. You only get to live one lifetime in this human body that you've got. So make the most of it. Do everything with 100%. Again, if you're not truly loving something that you're doing, don't do it. Go and find something. There's so many experiences and stuff that you can do. Then keep searching for what it is that you truly love and brings you joy and makes you feel amazing. Gratitude, give gratitude to those who've gone before you. So do little ceremonies. I did a little ceremony yesterday because it was the new moon, and I went and thanked the rivers in York for flowing and giving us power and being beautiful and even flooding and looking amazing and stuff. Go and celebrate existence and life and nature and give thanks to those who've gone before you. I regularly do ceremonies to thank my dad for being here and various of my other relatives. So find ways to be thankful to everything. Thankful that you're breathing. Thankful that, as I said, you've got food security, that you can go to a petrol station and get some petrol and it's not really a big deal. Be your authentic self. Those people who've gone before you, they wanted you to be here. They had kids, and those kids had kids, and those kids had kids, and those kids had kids. And all those people met up with all those people and had children. And so, again, the likelihood of you being here is pretty small. So be authentically you, because you've got all this genetic material that went into your existence, and there's only one of you. So be authentically you, be crazy, be mad, find joy, find love, be yourself, whatever. C is for creativity. So get out of your comfort zone sometimes. Sometimes we get bogged down with doing the same thing the same way, blah, blah, blah. Find a way to get out of that comfort zone and stretch yourself and find a way to maybe try new things. And again, maybe look back at what your ancestors liked doing. Find out what your grandparents liked doing and maybe give that a go. And then be truly you. So that's my acronym. L is love yourself. E is everything 100%. Even like being rubbish 100%. If you're going to be rubbish at something, really put your heart and soul into being rubbish so you totally know. Gratitude, find a way to be thankful every day, even for the tiny little things that you saw that flower, or the sky was blue, or it was raining and so you've got some extra water in your water butt or something. Be authentically you, because you're the only one who's going to be, and you're the only one who's here to do it for you. Get outside of your comfort zone, find ways to be creative and stretch yourself and see what you're capable of doing, and then be wholeheartedly you. And that spells legacy. And by doing all those things, you're honoring those who came before you. So I know I've mentioned it before, but I just thought I'd share that. It's something that, as I said, is coming up a lot in my shamanic healing, that I'm doing a lot of ancestral clearing so that any of those things that did happen in previous generations doesn't have that ripple effect. If that's something that resonates with you, or you want to share this with somebody else who you think it might resonate with, please get in touch, because I love doing this sort of thing and it has amazing, powerful effects on people. And as always, if you want to talk about anything oily, shamanic, home education, any of the crazy things I do, then just please get in touch. I'm always here to help. And remember, you are the only one of you. So be amazingly you. Love yourself wholeheartedly and take care. I'll see you next week. Love you.